Good morning guys, and welcome back to Damo Drives, bringing real reviews to real people and answering some of those questions other channels might not talk about. I've come down to my friends here at Cupra in Brighton to pick up what I think has to be the best looking SUV available on the market, and that is the new Cupra Formentor. I've seen loads about this on social media, I've seen it on TV. Normally the 2-litre turbocharged fire-breathing version, 60 in 4.9, although I've seen it do it in 4.5 seconds. Those figures are impressive, but I don't think that's the car most people are actually going to get. I think it's going to be this, which is one of the e-hybrid models. It has many things in similarity with that fire-breathing monster, but has some more realistic figures around it. One of those is 200 miles per gallon. That sounds very impressive, doesn't it? So what I've done, trying to prove or disprove this, I've set a nice route around Sussex. It's around 100 miles to various tourist attractions. I'm going to park up, try and take a picture of this cool looking car with said attraction, and just travel around Sussex. So I'm really looking forward to getting in this car, and we're going to discuss pretty much everything we can. So that's from looks, the tech, the driving experience. There's a lot to be included in this video. But before we get going, please click on the subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll be alerted when new videos come out. So let's get in this new car. But before we get going, in the comments down below, please put how many miles per gallon do you think I'm actually going to achieve over this 100-mile journey? Go on, put it down there quickly. Right, let's get going. Oh, welcome guys. Absolutely typical. It's been 30 something degrees for the past week and it's just started raining, so luckily I've got my coat. So less of the weather, let's get cracking to our first destination. We need to get everything set up first of all. So obviously buckle up first of all. Very modern in here, but we'll go over that as the video progresses. So foot on the brake, press the start button, and it roars into life, or not roaring as the case may be. Starts off in EV mode, so let's carry on. So infotainment system and this large 12-inch screen has started up. Let's just turn the aircon down ever so slightly. We'll go over this a bit later as well, because there's been a lot of negative reviews of this, but I've been going through with the Cupra Genius here at Hendy, and we've got some good tips on this. So we've got my iPhone. I've already set it up for Apple CarPlay. I've planned the route. I'm actually going to be using this because there's way too many stops to be putting in here, but you could use the inbuilt one. So we'll bring up the information about the car, because the most important thing, well, other than learning about the car, is the fuel consumption and things like that. So we can have a look at that. Vehicle is available. Where's it gone? It's in here somewhere. Interior, infotainment. Reset. Would you like to reset? No, we don't want to reset the tutorial. We want to reset the long-term driving data. So we do that, and there we go. So now we're ready to go. It is a bit of a maze of menus and there's an awful lot in here, but we'll get to learn them as time goes on. We eventually got out of the Hendy car park and we're on to our first stop, which is Brighton Pier, and we're going to talk about what is a PHEV in terms of the branding with this and e-hybrid. So simply put, we have an electric motor giving around 37 miles of range. We have a petrol engine up front, and you can either use just electric, just petrol, or combine the two. It's a very clever system, but if you don't particularly want to change any modes or anything, the most simple option you can possibly go for is the hybrid mode, and that will let the car decide what mode you should actually be running in. When you do start the car, it does start off on electric as default. So I've gone over to the battery manager section here, and we can see the different modes and what's happening in terms of battery usage. So as I said, I'd press the E mode. Now that's using just the electric battery. We can press the hybrid button right next to it, and that will then, as it says, use the hybrid, let the car decide on electric or battery. And there's a final mode just across to the right, which means you can save a certain percentage of your battery, and you can set that. So it might be that you want to say 50% of your battery for when you arrive back in town, so you can guarantee you could go over to just electric mode. So you'd press this little icon to the right, and as you can see, it's got battery reserve 100%. So that will mean it will keep charging the battery because you want 100% of the battery available pretty much all of the time. Driving around town like this is where an e-hybrid really comes into its own. You're not clogging up everyone's lungs with horrible fossil fuels. It's quiet, it's relaxing. There's loads of talk in here to get you off the lights, because driving around a town with a petrol engine really is very, very inefficient. So the car is doing its thing. It's chosen that it's the best mode to be in, and that's it. So I really like that. We're coming up to Brighton Pier, so let's attempt to try and get a photo. Need to pull over somewhere. This may be easier said than done, and take a photo. So the next stop now is Newhaven Fort. 26 minutes, 9.6 miles. So this will mean it should use a mixture of petrol and electric, because there are some faster type of roads along the way. So let's have a quick look at fuel consumption on that very short leg of our journey. So we'll go over to the little car icon, if I can remember where it is. Press the little fuel pump, driving data, long term. There we go. So at the moment we've got 111 miles per gallon. There we go. Total range 405 miles. We've got 31 miles of range. Admittedly, it's only over 5 miles. But even so, let's hope that goes up slightly more, but who knows? I'll see you guys back, well, probably be in half an hour in my time and about 2 seconds in yours. So, see you in a minute. We're not a million miles away now from my next stop. I need to go back over to Google Maps to tell me actually where I'm going. So we're only 5 minutes away, 1.3 miles. So when we get there, we're going to take another picture. We'll have a quick catch up in terms of MPG, and then I'll tell you where we're going next. Right, welcome back. We're all strapped in, ready to go, and we are the route up, and basically we're off to some nice twisty roads. I'm going to have to go this side because I think I'm going to hit the top of the thank you very much. I think I was going to hit the top of that post there, but we're off to some nice twisty roads. So it's over Burling Gap, Beachy Headway, so some really, really nice twisty roads that way. So let's have a quick catch up fuel consumption, as that's partly what this video's about. Vehicle, we'll get there eventually. And a little think. In fact, it's me that's got to have a little think where it was. Here we go, into the fuel pump thing, driving data. So we've done. So long term, been driving for an hour, 14 miles, so not that far, but we're on 158 MPG. It's pretty good, isn't it? Oh, we're stuck in a big traffic jam. I think it's going over the New Haven Bridge and it's probably waiting for the ferry. So really annoying, doesn't help me get to the destination, but it does give me a chance to talk about this digital cockpit. It's really nice, it's a really good size, comes as standard across all Formentor vehicles. In fact, a lot of the newer Seat cars, they're all using the same sort of layout. So no analog dials, and it looks really smart. We can customize what we see in there using these buttons over on the right. So we can press this view button, for example, and it will change the overall look of the dash. So we can go through. So this one's like in tiles. This almost mirrors what we see over on the infotainment system. We can go around again. So you've got maps, etc. That's more of a clean look. So literally just speed, range. Goes here. This is a bit more cool. So you've got your speedo in the middle, and then you've got some driver information over on the left and right, and I believe you can actually change that using these buttons up here. It's like a left and right, so we can press left and then you use the wheel on this side and you can scroll through. As you can see, it's changing what you can see on there, so that's pretty good. And then we can go over the other side and we can, that's got radio, we could change what we see on there as well. So loads of things, and even in this middle section here, we can change lap timer. So we'll have the speed in there. So very customizable, very good looking, and I definitely like that a lot. We really aren't going anywhere quickly, are we, at the moment? But I suppose it does give me a chance more to talk about some of these other areas. Let's talk about this very, very large dominant touchscreen here. This does pretty much everything. You'll find very, very few physical buttons in here. Now, the biggest gripe I've read from any reviewer is about the climate control. It was originally my thoughts that yes, it was really annoying, but if you think about it, it's not as bad as it sounds. So bear with me on this one. So let's go back to the home screen. I've got shortcut buttons across the top here, and you can see you've got two pictures of the heated seats, and we can actually shortcut to those. You can just double tap the left. It's a bit of a lag on it, but you can just tap both sides and the heated seat comes on, and that's it. That's really cool. So you've got left and right, you can just double tap and it will change your seat. Now the area I think which is really good is over here we've got the temperature, so dual zone climate control, and you can move that on its head, left and right. Not exactly too difficult. Not the most amount of feedback, but I'm sort of going to forgive it in some ways, because my issue is people are complaining that it's really fiddly, which yes it is, but the big thing is, how often are you actually going to be changing the temperature of your car? I don't think you are that often. Once you've got to a comfortable temperature, you might want your car always at 22 degrees. You've just set that to 22 and that's it. So does it matter? It's a bit fiddly. Could be easier, but not end of the world. Now, another thing we've got up here is this auto button. And a lot of cars I've driven with auto temperatures will just put it on auto and it will just cool the car as quickly as possible. So you end up with a bit of a gale blowing through the car. Now you've actually got three options on here. So you've got an auto, you can press it once, so that'd be an auto on like a slow blowing 2, or cool it as quickly as possible and there is a small gale blowing throughout the car. So we'll turn that off. So I don't think that matters, because you'd say, right, 20 degrees, auto, done. And that is it really. So does it matter? Not massively. It could be better designed, but oh well. If you want a bit more granularity of the speed of the fan, you press the fan button, go in there, and you've got, blimey, that's blowing a lot, isn't it? Plus and minus there. You've got where you want the air conditioning to be blowing from. You press buttons. Again, I wouldn't feel happy changing this while driving too much because it is very fiddly, but get it set up and just don't change it. We've got heated steering wheel, you've got heated front screen, rear screen, demisting. All of those buttons are over on the right hand side as physical buttons anyway, so you won't be using that. So to me, I think we've sort of got over the major gripe with this. It's just knowing where these buttons are and how to use it properly. I didn't know about any of this. That was the wonderful thing about the tech genius at Cupra. I was going through it and we discussed some questions like that, and it was like, no, just do that, that, and that. It's like, yeah, I didn't think of that. I don't walk into my office at work and start fiddling around with the air conditioning controls all the time. So why would you do that in the car? You wouldn't really. Other things as well on here, like for your stereo, yes, you've got this bar in the middle here and you can swipe it around. Again, that's fiddly. Just don't use it. Use the one on the steering wheel. There's a little wheel and you can turn it up and down. There are so many functions that you use on a regular basis that there are better ways of doing it than using the touchscreen. Things that maybe are a bit more complicated, you won't be changing all the time. You can focus on that when you're actually stopped or sitting in some exciting traffic. So that's some of the infotainment system. Not as bad as everyone makes out, really. I absolutely love this bit of road. It's a 2 or 3 mile strip which is absolutely fantastic for driving. Lots of tight and twisty bits, so we can push this thing a bit more within reason anyway. It's so busy up here. Everyone else wants to come up here to also drive their car. So before we get going, let's have a quick look at driving data. So we've got 113 miles per gallon while driving along this bit of road up to now. But what we're going to do, we're going to change into a slightly more sporty setting. So we'll press the button, vehicle, driver profile. Let's go over to sport and see what that does for our fuel consumption. Not sure I want to watch this. So just a reminder, we're 113 miles per gallon, and now it will use petrol and electric to make it more of an enjoyable, more performance related drive rather than about fuel consumption. So these roads are very, very tight and twisty, as I think I just mentioned. And how are we going to get on? This has got standard suspension of the Formentor. It's not the adaptive which are on the other models, but even so we can push on, have a bit of fun. 200 brake, 60 and 7.8 I do believe, and that scenery though, oh, lovely. So 109, we're dropping down on the MPG. Let's hope it doesn't go too low. It's the problem with this car, it looks sporty, it wants you to push it a bit, but it goes against being a PHEV. PHEVs are about driving sensibly and getting fuel consumption. This Formentor is not necessarily about that. It's a bit of a confusing car in that way. It's brilliant, but it's confusing. So all of my hard work to get the MPG up has gone out of the window because we're down at 106. We're rapidly losing MPG here. No, this isn't good. This wasn't in the plan. Hopefully when we go back over to normal and onto some other roads we can start making it up. But even so, these roads are having fun, aren't they? And we're on to our next stop, which is Eastbourne Pier. This is going to be even more difficult to get a picture of this one. It's right in the middle of town, but let's go and see what we can do. It's a bit more Some nice roads like we're on at the moment, bit of town driving, and then we've got a further distance to go after that. So what I'm going to do now, I've had my excitement, and we'll go over to normal driving mode again. So just a quick catch up, even though it was only 3 miles, we've lost definitely some. 109 MPG at the moment. My electric range has got absolutely crucified, a whole 7 miles left. Oh, that's not good. So I think we're going to change back over to a more relaxing driving style and try and get some of that battery up, because we've got about 5 miles to go and I want to drive through the town with electric power, so we need to boost some of that up a little bit more. We're not that far away now from the town, we're just on the outskirts of Eastbourne. We made up a couple of percent now, up to 29%, 7 miles. The problem you've got, a bit of a conundrum really. I want to use electric in the town, which we'll go over to in a second. So I'm telling it to give me 40%, but then that uses more of the petrol engine, which then decreases your MPG. So it's a bit of a toss up between which option you go for. I mean, to get the maximum MPG out of this thing, you need to constantly be charging it. You know, if you're doing 15-mile journeys, 20 miles, and you can charge it in between, you'll definitely get some amazing figures out of it. So we're just coming into Eastbourne. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it over to E. So we're in just electric mode only. It won't try and charge anything. So we've got 7 miles at 29%. So we're gonna, or we're not, as the case may be. This person cross. We'll waft away in silence. There we go. So not using any fossil fuels and not polluting the lungs of all these pedestrians. We're now underway to Dungeness. I've decided I'm going to use the sat nav on the car rather than using Google Maps, because not everyone has a phone. So to do that, you went to the home screen, double tap on the map, destination button up here, type in your postcode, and that's it. So now we're going on to our longer run. Let's see what the MPG we've got at the moment. Press the little fuel button down there, driving data. So we're on 102 MPG. We've definitely lost some, so I'm hoping maybe we can pick some of this back up again. Cross fingers. We've got quite a bit of driving to do, so we're going to take a relaxing drive. If you're considering getting a PHEV, there are some pros and there are definitely some cons. The biggest pros to this are the amount of money it could save in your pocket, and we all like saving money. So with a PHEV, it will benefit you if you can charge your car on a regular basis and make the most use of the electric side of the car. It takes around 3.5 hours to charge it if you've got a wall box at home, and will cost you around, I think it's around £3. So you can cover 30 miles on £3. So I could imagine driving to work, if you were doing like a shorter distance, or even if there's charging stations at work and you can take advantage of the company's electricity, which is definitely a good thing. Maybe if you're driving around town quite a bit, low congestion zones, that sort of thing makes a huge amount of sense with a PHEV. Company cars as well. From speaking to the Cupra sales manager, said a lot of these PHEVs are going and company cars, which I can understand, because the benefit in kind between this and the other models, well, it's quite significant. The Formentor e-hybrid certainly has plenty of benefits and reasons to actually get one, but it's not for everyone. The biggest thing is, if you're someone doing either longer trips or you're not going to charge the car, then it's probably not the right decision for you. You need to be charging this on a regular basis in order to get the best fuel consumption possible. Yes, if you're a company car owner, you might not care about fuel consumption and cost, then maybe it is a good option for you. But as I said, as long as you can charge it on a regular basis, you're not doing really long trips, then I think it is definitely a good option for you. We are very, very close to Dungeness Nuclear Power Station. I thought that was quite a fitting place to add as one of my main destinations to try and get to, this being an electric car, and electricity comes from somewhere, and it comes from places like that huge building over there. So we'll try and get a bit closer. I'm not sure how close we can actually get. I don't think they let anyone wander into a nuclear power station somehow, but we'll try and get over there. Car wise, in terms of fuel consumption, it's been hit quite badly now. Still done very good, but nowhere near the figures that we thought it would do. Beginning of the journey we were getting 130 miles. We're down at 74 now, so I've been driving 3 hours 50 minutes, like I said, 74 miles, and we're 75.5 MPG. So not the lofty heights that we were hoping for, but still very, very good for this car. I mean, that's well up there with a really, really good diesel, but this is obviously a lot greener and a lot better for the environment. So I reckon we've actually done a pretty good job with this car. Like I said, not the lofty figures we were hoping for, but it certainly isn't bad. So we're now back home, and I want to change over to using just electric now. So let's do that first, and then we can see what it's done to my MPG. I'm not feeling too hopeful about this one. So battery will go, we've got to 22% and 6 miles. So I'm going to press the little E button. So now we're full electric, nice and quiet, but let's look at what it's done to here. Oh dear, 53.8 MPG. We started off, what the figure was now, was many hours ago, 120, 130, that sort of figure. So I've done 5 hours 37 of driving, 122 miles, so that really, really has hit it quite badly, and changing over to charge the battery also has made that, it's compounded the issue. So as you can see, it's not great if you're not going to charge the battery. Nice and simple, that one. Charge your battery. Simple as that. If you can, charge, and you will get far better fuel consumption. What I'm going to do in my next video is take the car out and have it with 0 battery, and then see what it does to the average MPG. I have a funny feeling it's going to be significantly worse than that, but I don't know the exact numbers, so you'll have to tune in for that one. What are my final thoughts of this Cupra Formentor e-hybrid? Overall, I think it's a fantastic car. It looks good, it drives well, I love the interior. Everything about it is a really, really good car. Now, the problem comes for the e-hybrid part. If you're doing shorter journeys, then it's a really good choice for you. As we've seen with this video now, doing longer trips, it really isn't the best choice for you. If you are going to do those longer trips, then I would suggest then the petrol model would be a better bet for you. It's also a bit cheaper. Unless it's for a company car, then definitely this one, because 11% benefit in kind compared to 37%, then it's an absolute no-brainer. But as an overall vehicle, it's really good. Gets the big thumbs up from me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed driving this vehicle. Anyway guys, if you've got any questions on the Cupra Formentor, please put in the comments down below. I'd love to know what you think of the car. I'm starting to waffle slightly now, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. Interested in a Cupra or a Seat, go along to Seat Hendy in Brighton and tell them Damo sent you and give us your best deal. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.